We have an extremely broad range of scholars in African studies. It's critical for Penn State students to learn more about Africa for the following reasons. One, it provides them with an opportunity to understand other ways in which the world and societies are organized. The second reason why it's important to understand Africa and the politics of Africa is that the United States is heavily invested in Africa. They have a lot of different members of the United States Defense Forces which are situated in different parts of Africa.
Participating in a program like this one allows you to learn beyond the lines of an individual discipline, and that's so special and rare.
Africa is not isolated. No continent is isolated. What happens in Africa has an impact globally.
The population's growing, the economies are growing there. There's just so much creativity and so much history.
I became an African Studies professor because I was always intrigued in trying to learn more about my own background and cultural aspects about my own life. And I was interested in finding ways of articulating that knowledge to other people who come from different parts of the world.
I speak to a lot of individuals who are looking to hire recently minted students, and many of them, regardless of the field that they're in, are interested in people who can think critically, who can speak critically, who can interact and work with individuals unlike themselves. These are all the things that African and African American studies do quite naturally in preparing liberal arts students for multiple and diverse careers.
An African studies degree is great on its own, but it's also a really valuable companion piece for any major at Penn State, because developing your interest in a disciplinary practice and then complementing it with a regional specialization will only sort of broaden your worldview and open new opportunities for people with that type of specialization.
Governmental institutions, they can also work for NGOs, conservation and biodiversity and development NGOs. I've seen many students that took my class, some of them that took my class, and interns that works with me, and now they end up working with some international NGOs in either like in human rights and democracy or conservation, biodiversity and development as well.
We are one of the few programs in the College of Liberal Arts which is truly interdisciplinary.
I think Penn State's African Studies program is a better state suited to do incorporating development, sustainability, society, livelihoods, well-being, research, and then with a set of colleagues and tools and partners and students that we can collaborate, come together, and bring other partners to go as a team. And through that, then we're able to mold a program that is anchored on research, that is going to deliver development, priorities, conservation needs, and help these communities to understand that if we don't take care of the land, of the resources, land and resources won't take care of us.
There are so many places where you have to remind people that Africa is not a country. Sometimes when you're classified as an African, it sort of erases every other identity.
And I think sometimes we forget when we think of the African continent as being underdeveloped, which historically it has been, but that there's a relationship to its underdevelopment and how other parts of the world have been able to develop.
We cannot not talk about Africa. I think it's very at the center of everything, civilization included.
Students should take African studies courses in order to understand the complexity of the contemporary world in terms of issues about environment, politics, linguistics, and geography.
If you take a class like Introduction to Contemporary Africa, where you will realize what happens in Seychelles is not what happens in Kenya. These are different countries. Then you open your perspective and you're probably not going to lump all Africans together.
I think that studying the African continent is an invitation to study transnational conditions of coloniality, racism, capitalism that affect the whole world, and that any college student is better for having thought about while they are in college.